Hello, Facebook family. It's been a while since I've made a little video, so I actually had a request. Thank you for my one fan who's requesting videos. Tonight's topic is optimism, right? I was born an optimistic person. I feel very blessed that I was born with that. But what I love is that I'm learning that optimism can be learned. So how I want to start this off, right, this Facebook page is geared towards helping you create positive, healthy habits. So what I want to ask you is, what do you want? What makes you happy? What are your goals? If I went outside right now and started taking a poll and asking people, what do you want? What are your goals? Where are you going in life? People would say to me, I would say, what do you want? And they would say, I want to get a better job, or I want to get married, or I want to have a baby, or I want a promotion, or I want to own my own company, or I want to travel, right? I want to learn Spanish. I don't know. People would tell me a million things, right? When I say, what do you want? What are your goals? But then if I followed up that question to why do you want that? They would answer. And then if I said, why again? And then why again? If I keep asking why over and over, eventually people say, well, because I want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. We're all going to the same destination. We're just taking different roads. So if everybody wants to be happy, wouldn't it be interesting to learn what do happy people do, right? If I wanted to learn how to, I don't know, start organic farming, I would probably speak to an organic farmer because I've never done something like that. And I would interview someone that's been there and done that, and I would copy them. So if happiness is my goal, why don't we copy what optimistic people do? Now, I've always been an optimistic person, and over the years I used to tone down my optimism because I felt overwhelming to people. I was so optimistic and enthusiastic. People didn't realize that's who I am. As I've grown older and wiser, I've embraced who I am. And I realize it's very cool in this world to be negative. If you go to work in the morning and you want to talk about your problems and how hard you have it, people love to talk about your problems, right? That let's get a cup of coffee and really dig into this. But if you go to work and you're like, oh, I love my life, everything's happy, I'm just so thrilled, people go, ooh, happy girl, stay away from me, you're weird. I had a woman tell me years ago once, she said to me, take your pom-poms and go someplace else. So it actually takes more effort to stay positive. It takes no effort to be negative because there's millions of people out there being negative. So again, what do optimists know? First of all, let me tell you this. The studies have shown optimists, they just fare better over time. Pessimists are sometimes more accurate. I'll give you that. But optimists do better in school, in sports, in life, in their careers. They even endure pain better. They did tests where they rated people's optimism, and then they put buckets of ice water, and people had to put their hands into a bucket of ice water. Optimists were able to keep their hand in the bucket of ice water longer than pessimists. So they heal better, they age better, they handle life's problems better. Problems happen to optimistic people. Problems come to everybody's life, right? But they have coping strategies and mechanisms for how to deal with their problems and how to get through them. So if you want to be optimistic, okay, so how do you become optimistic? Actually, let me back up. The one thing we've learned, as of 2000, the new term positive psychology, Martin Seligman and the University of Pennsylvania, scientists have actually looked at, and psychologists, optimists, and they really proven this stuff scientifically, which is what I love about this. They've also proven that 50% of your happiness comes from your genes, right? Your mother and father gave them to you. You had no say in the matter. 10% of your happiness lie in your circumstances, where you live, where you work, who you're married to, stuff like that. 40% of your optimism, your happiness, lies in your behavior and your daily intentional activities, how you think and behave. 40%, I need to repeat that because it's so powerful. 40% of your happiness lies in your behavior and your daily intentional activities, how you think and behave. So if I take that 40% with the 10% circumstances and I add them together, 50% is in your control. So how do you become an optimist? Okay, let's start with optimistic explanations, right? Optimists and pessimists explain away their challenges and problems very differently. Let's say, for example, you just took a test yesterday and you failed. A pessimist will say, "Ugh, I'm a loser, I'm stupid, I knew I was going to fail." That's a big label, it's a permanent label. An optimist will say, "I didn't study. I could have studied more," or they would say, "I was tired, I wasn't operating at my best." Either way, both of those explanations, "I didn't study" or "I'm tired," are temporary. Right? So a pessimist explains things as permanently bad, where an optimist will explain them as temporarily bad. You know what? This is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to pass this test, but since I didn't, I'm taking responsibility. That's a big key too. Pessimists sometimes will blame others. It's his fault, or it's so-and-so's fault, or I had to work later, there was traffic. Where an optimist will look themselves in the eye and say, "You know what, Michelle Phillips? You fell down on the job here. You did not do your best." So what I'd love you to do is pay attention to how you explain away your issues and problems over the next 48 hours. Is it temporary or is it permanent? And realize that, again, optimism, happiness, 50% is in your control. So with that, I encourage you to watch your own thoughts. And let me give you a quick story before we sign off. A couple months ago, I was rollerblading, and as I was going around a corner very fast, I tripped on a rock. And my arms were flailing, and I was kind of losing my balance, and I caught myself. And the moment I gained control, the voice in my Walkman or my iPod was like, I don't know, some faith song. I don't remember exactly what song. It was like basically saying, "I got you in the palm of my hand, right? I'm here for you." And I was like, "Oh, this is God's way of telling me He's taking care of me. And I could take a risk because He's not going to let me fall." I was very happy with my little positive explanation. 10 seconds later, 10 minutes later, I'm probably exaggerating, I fell on my butt and got a really bad bruise. So now what's my explanation for that? Well, I said, okay, you know what? I need to rethink this. But I will not be defeated. Because this is God's way of telling me that even if I do fall, I will survive and I can get up. So that's my challenge to you, my Facebook family and friends, is to watch your explanations for the first 48 hours, the next 48 hours, and see how you fare. Because optimism, my friend, can be learned. And I've been very happy quoting Glenda the Good Witch lately because I love her quote. She says, "You always had the power." Make it a great one.